Welcome to the second episode of the No Stages podcast. Tonight, we're visiting with Team Boreas' Sarah Widdern. Sarah, I got to meet you through a number of Race Across Oregons and Race Across Oregon 260. You've done the 1000K. What was it that really prompted you and husband Ben Larson to do Race Across the West?
Good question. I think it was probably Ben and probably originally Ben's best friend Kenneth Philbrick, who you know well, who put the idea in our minds. I think Kenneth had always had a dream of doing it, and he is otherwise occupied these days. He has a lovely little boy named Leon, but he's going to be crew chief for us for Race Across the West. And Ben just, I think, had it in his mind. And I told him, whenever you want to do it, I'll do it. Because I normally race triathlon, except for when he, gets me to focus. And he picked this year. So I think we were looking for a new challenge. Race Across Oregon is amazing. Some of the best riding you will ever do. But Race Across the West is new roads, new scenery, new competition. So we're excited to see what we can do.
I was kind of like, Rick, we don't want to have Sarah or Ben on because they're such a sleeper team.
Yeah,
People are going to be really surprised how fast you are. When did you start riding, and when did you kind of realize that, this is something maybe I'm okay at?
I started riding in college, actually. So I grew up swimming. I was a competitive swimmer growing up, and then I got into running and did some marathons in college. And then I decided to try triathlon kind of like midway through, just on a whim on my own. There's a triathlon near where I grew up in Door County, Wisconsin. I was like, I'm going to try it. It'll be fun. So I commuted, but I didn't really ride. And I did pretty well in that first triathlon. It was like a sprint or something. And then I got into it and was doing a couple other local triathlons in Seattle where I went to school. And then a professor of mine, Doug Mercer, who's also a friend of Ben's, they were on the same bike racing team, was like, Sarah, you should come ride with my team. Oh, you'll get way better. And so I did. And so I bike raced for a little bit in college. I was like Cat 4 and terrible. And I think like twice I finished with the pack. It was bad. But I learned how to ride a little bit there, and I kind of initially got into it. And then I didn't really I would say stretch my cycling legs until I met Ben and started riding with him seriously, because he really knew how to train cycling. Like, it was always my worst discipline at triathlon. Like, I'd come out of the water first, get passed by everybody, and then try and like pick up time on the run. And then it totally flipped, once I started actually training for cycling properly and got myself a proper like cycling, like carbon bike, and learned technique. Um, I improved really quickly, and now it's my best discipline doing triathlon. And I did Race Across Oregon a couple times with Ben and Kenneth, and then my own, and Ben and I as a team. And now I still do triathlons. I wish there was more masters racing, but that's not like a road race where you're going to crash yourself out or a crit. But we recently got into gravel racing, and that's been really fun recently. So I guess I've been actually cycling for like a decade.
You won the RAO 260 overall.
Yes,
With
I
a
did.
really, in fact, I think you got the record on the course.
Oh, well, that's good to know. I didn't even know that.
And then your crew chief, Kenneth, he's won RAO solo. He's
Yep.
won Hoodoo solo. He did really well at the 508. I think he was top three. And
Yeah.
I mean, so you've got a wealth of experience there. He was somebody I always thought would really excel at Race Across the West and Race Across America. And it was hard not seeing him actually be able to make that next step. But I mean, I know he's been super busy with getting his doctorate and everything. But What's it like having him as a crew chief, somebody who really cares about you, but also who really knows the sport, and he's not going to be sympathetic at all.
Yeah, no, he tells you what you need to hear, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise. But he is the best crew chief. Like if we do anything, it'll be because Kenneth is supporting us. Like you can't, George, and I'm sure Rick, too, like you win or lose based on your crew. And so that was a really, really important decision for us, is having true crew that we knew we could trust and were experienced and would help, keep us safe, but also keep us fast. And all we got to do is ride. They've got the hard part. And so if Kenneth wasn't in, I don't know that we would be here. And then we also have, so Kenneth and his friend John will be in Ben's van. And then I have Sam Larson, who's Ben's brother. He's crewed for Ben and Kenneth and me a couple times. So he's got some experience. And then his friend Luis. So I think we have, I mean, I don't know what everybody else's crew is, but I'm feeling really, really confident. Just with the general experience, driving savvy, knowing where to be, where to set up. And they're all really familiar with Ben and I's relative strengths. So I think that'll really help set us up well too for like climbs, descents, flats. Be good.
I'm glad you brought up relative strengths, because my next question was actually, how do you and Ben complement each other as a team, as teammates?
Well, I
And I
mean,
don't mean, hey, nice ride.
right. I was say, well, no, I was going to make a joke, was going to say, well, we complement each other the best off the bike. No, but we are honestly, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be as competitive as I am if he weren't my training partner. And I think he would probably say the same. We're really, really compatible training wise. So we can go out and ride, swap poles, and we're like very, very he has to pull a little bit harder weight, so he has to do a little bit more watts than I do, but we can maintain similar speeds and train together really well. And I think that's just really motivating. So you don't have to ride hours and hours by yourself. We live in small town now, so it's like hard to find people to ride with. But I think honestly, he helps hold me back, which is probably what I need to be fastest. I can overtrain really easily, and I help motivate him. I've become probably a little better climber, and he has tons of power on the flats. And so I don't know, I think we're both pretty good all around riders, so we don't have to overthink it. But I think there's some key parts of the course that we've been targeting. You told us about the Yarnell grade, George, and we went out and did a cycling camp in Prescott, and I am very much looking forward to that climb.
So do you think your tri background does that help you prepare for these longer distance races, or is it kind of a challenge because tris are definitely pretty short and pretty quick? And also
depends on what you're doing.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
I usually do the Ironman distance, but this is definitely way longer than Ironman. I think it helps. I think it helps because one of the things I struggle with, honestly, when even in gravel racing, we were in gravel a couple weeks ago, and this pack racing where you're not just like setting a pace and just, dialing it in and holding it. It's hard for me, being a triathlete. I'm just really good at knowing my body, knowing exactly where I need to be when I need to be, and riding my own race. And that's what long distance cycling is about. So I think it sets me up really well. Plus I've done a bajillion hours on my TT bike in aero, so I have no problems with that.
Well, I mean, Ken and Ben were such a great two-person team, and I see you and Ben as being really comparable because, I mean, from what I've observed, and I've seen you race a lot, and Ben race a lot, I mean, you really don't have weaknesses.
I would say our Ben and I's main weakness is descending, because we have a healthy fear of gravity. So like that'll be where we miss Kenneth the most, because Kenneth could just rip the descents, man. Like amazing. Make up time on people. And like we've really been working on it, on our like confidence and maybe overconfidence on the descents, so that we don't lose time, but we're not going to make up time on the descents on people. So I think that's our main weakness, but I'm okay with that, because the fastest race is the one where you don't crash.
Well,
So
that
I
that's
would say
actually
mainly your descent to from Mingus Mountain is going to be the only one that's kind of technical. That and Montezuma.
yeah,
yeah,
glass
and Jerome.
elevator. And the good thing about the glass elevator is it happens early in the event. So you're not, even if you take it safe and it's pretty slow, you're not going to lose that much in the grand scheme of things. But
Yeah.
that's a pretty tough descent early on.
Yeah, well, we'll watch out for that one. We haven't done that. We're gonna drive out, so we're gonna try and pre-ride the glass elevator on the way down.
It's like riding into a blow dryer. It just gets hotter and hotter and hotter as you descend.
Oh yeah, that heat acclimation, man, that is the other thing that I'm a little worried about, but we're getting ready. It's been a cold spring where I'm from, so
Yeah, that's going to be a shock to the system for sure.
yeah. Doing the heat acclimation protocol.
Anything you're not especially looking forward to and something that you're really excited about?
I'll do the positive one first, because that came to mind first. I'm really, really excited about, I mean, we rode all the terrain around Prescott, probably like 400 or 450 miles in between, we're Connell and almost to Flagstaff. And it was just beautiful, just fantastic. But I can't wait to get into Monument Valley, up through Utah and into Colorado. I haven't seen that country, and it's just going to be, I mean, that's why I ride my bike, is to see gorgeous country. So I'm really looking forward to that. I hope we get to go through in like some kind of semblance of daylight, dusk, dawn, but if not, not. What I'm not looking forward to, I won't say that I'm not looking forward to it. The thing I'm the most apprehensive about is that second night, because RAO has always been a day and a half. And we've never raced to more than 48 hours, 2 days straight. And we have a strategy. We've talked through strategy on like how to get naps and, feel like we'll be okay to ride. And I feel good about the plan, but I've never done it. So I'm apprehensive about what that second night's going to be like.
Well, and you haven't, because when you did Race Across Oregon as 1,000K a couple of years ago, you were racing as a 3-person team, and you
Yep.
didn't have to go. You went so fast, you didn't go into a second night. That was impressive.
Nope. Day and a half. Yeah. So I've never done 2 nights, but we'll see. That's another place Ben and I complement each other. I'm a morning lark and he's a night owl. So I hate the like midnight to 2 a.m. period. That is the worst for me, but Ben's fine with it. And then like 2 a.m. to dawn, like that's my like bewitching hour. So that's another complementary skill set.
Rick, any questions?
No, but those are really good complementing skill sets, because that is an exceptionally difficult time to ride.
Oh my God, yeah.
And going into that second night, as George, I'm sure, can attest better than anybody, it's hard. That's when a lot of things kind of go screwy. More so for solo racers, but even teams, like, because you can kind of grit it out for a day. When you start getting into day 2, it becomes more challenging, but it sounds like you're prepared and your crew is pretty rock solid.
Oh yeah.
So how did you select your crew? I mean, I know Sam has crewed before. You've got a great crew chief. How about Luis?
Sam picked Luis and I trusted him. So I said, Sam, mostly it was someone that Sam trusted enough to let him drive. Because Sam, when he crews, he almost always drives the entire time because he doesn't really trust anyone else to drive. And that is prudent because Sam is an excellent driver and like very, very good and conscientious of what's going on around him, keeps the rider safe, keeps everyone else safe. But he cannot do that for 2.5 days straight. Like that is not allowed. And so he needed to pick someone that he was going to let drive. And that was Luis. And Luis is amazing. I've met him a lot. He's been friends with Sam for a long time, and he drives for his job and is also very competent at it. He's not been part of a long distance bike race before, so this is going to be a new experience for him. But we have ridden, and he's going to come out here and like do some practice swaps. So I think we'll be all set.
What are you looking at as far as pulls? And I don't want to get too much into your strategy and give away, but I mean, it could be easily 120 out in the desert if things aren't going great.
We're gonna try and keep it. We're gonna try and keep it quick. And listen to Kenneth. Kenneth is gonna kind of dictate the schedule, but we're gonna try and keep it quick. Communicate about how we're feeling and just be honest. Like if somebody's feeling bad or good, go a little bit longer, go a little bit shorter. Keep it quick during the day for sure, and then try for a couple longer pulls at night so people can get a little rest here and there. But probably generally less than an hour during the day, half an hour, and then maybe around an hour at night. Maybe 1-2 hour pull, especially the second night.
You won't see much of each other.
Nope. Not for 2.5 days. All right. Well, we've got plenty of time in the van on the way there and the way back
Yeah, there you go.
to recap.
And then what are your plans after two-person RAAM?
Sleep. A lot, and then we're gonna drive the van back. We're gonna stay with my friend in Omaha and then just get home. And then I don't know what Ben has on the calendar for the rest of the summer. He's gonna figure it out. I am going to get into my triathlon season, and I've got 4 or 5 races over July through September, ending with Ironman Wisconsin. So big goals.
I think you'll find two-person is just incredible training for what you've got coming up, because it's just nothing but interval training for 2.5 days straight.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. Last year I did only triathlon training and I got so burnt out like midway through the season. So this whole year so far, I've been telling Ben like, this is the best. I'm like training for gravel, then I'm training for the road, and then I'm doing this other thing. And I think it's going to keep it really fresh. I'm looking forward to seeing how it kind of like builds into a good Ironman.
Nice. Anything in conclusion, Rick and/or Sarah?
Not from my end. We just wish you the best of luck out there. It's going to be some fun racing.
Yeah, thanks.
According to George, there's going to be some shocked racers out there, and I hope it's true.
Well, Ben and I keep saying, you know what? Our training's been going super well, knock on wood. And you can only do what you can do, and try not to slow down the most. Just try to slow down less than everybody else, and then you'll do pretty well. And we'll see how it goes. We've got some secret goals, and I'll tell you what if we got them at the end of the race.
We'll talk to you after the race, and you can tell us if you hit them. But that's a good point you bring up too, because stepping outside of your race bounds can really blow your race up quick. And stay kind of in your pocket. Let other people blow up. Let them make the mistakes.
Yep.
If at the end they're just better, that's fine. But you'll oftentimes find they're not.
It's a long, long race, so it's not won or lost in any given climb or any given swap, whatever.
Given descent.
Yes, right.
Oh, I did have one more question. I do have one more. What is the significance of Boreas?
Boreas is I think Greek, I'm going to forget, Norse god of the north wind. And we originally came up with that name for our Nordic ski racing team, which is literally just Ben and I, but we started cross-country skiing together and racing, and we decided we wanted a team and got this special kit from Jackaroo. And so that was our cross country ski team name. And then when we started racing on the road, we thought the North Wind's pretty good. So God of the North Wind, Boreas. And we got shirts made that say the North Wind meets the Southwest Desert.
Ooh, love it. Well, Sarah, we wish you and Ben all the best. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us on the No Stages podcast.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks. Looking
Sarah.
forward to it. See you in a month.
See you in a month.